Hey guys, it's James. What I'm doing in this video is the Toronto Wolfpack. You may not have heard of them because they're a rugby league team that has been created this year. The reason I'm doing this is on Instagram we put up a rugby league thing and they liked it, so I felt it's quite appropriate for me to be doing this. So as I said before, they're not a full rugby league team yet. As in, they've only got 8 players, and they're currently having trials in the north of USA and Canada to recruit local players. So I've put the details down here, put the stadium name, and if we go to the team, there's a few players in here, like Quinton, John, Liam, Craig, Martin, Bob, Dan, Matthew Scarfield and Roddy. Also, Steve Crosley's a Bradford player and Roddy McGruff are not in the 8 players that they've signed, but Brian Noble's making links with Bradford, so I thought he might go as a not massively used player, and Roddy McGruff is actually playing for Canada, so he's a Canadian player, so I thought he might want to jump ship and join the team where he's from. So, and the other players I've pulled out of the Canada and USA teams on the game. The creative players, and when I first put all the players on, there was a lot of suspiciously high ratings for them players, so I got rid of the better players and made it slightly more realistic. Also, no kits have been released, so I've just done for home. They've renounced team colours are black and white, so home I went more black, away I went more white. Just very simple kits. Okay, this is me playing the game as if it's a League 1 rugby level. I'm playing Newcastle Thunder. Also, I'll just be explaining a bit more of how this will be working for them. So, as I've said, now, this is a League 1 game, so they'll be joining the League 1 structure of Rugby League, which is the start of the professional or semi-professional teams. And the home games will be played in Canada. They are a team that will be based across the Atlantic, which, when you think about it, that's insane to have a team that's that distance. I mean, you've had Toulouse in that league, who's been playing from France, obviously. So the teams won't be that estranged to having to play far from home. But because of the distance, I have read that the Wolfpack will be paying for the travel. So on amateur teams, that's pretty good. Also, whilst being in League 1, it'll mean they'll be going into the Challenge Cup next year, which I think, for Rugby League, the Challenge Cup's a massive coup if you can get a run going in it. First Challenge Cup, I doubt they'd get much of a run, but they do have some experienced players in the lineup, like Ridyard and Hall, who I believe may end up playing as the halves, which could be promising for the team. Also, with the players they've got, I think they should be able to get promoted from League 1, like Toulouse have done this year, because so far they've only lost 1 game from when I've checked the recordings on the league. So it does make it interesting. It expands Rugby League, which I do feel is needed, because as a game, Rugby Leagues, it can be quite narrow-minded to north of England and Australia only, which is a shame, because like every good Rugby League fan, I love the sport, but at the same time I'll hate the sport just because of stuff that isn't going to how everyone wants it to go. One thing I've not mentioned is the coaching staff. They've got the former Leeds Centurions coach, Paul Rowley, and they've also got Bradford Bulls coach, well, former Bradford Bulls, former Bradford and North Wales Crusaders coach, Brian Noble, who, that is a brilliant man to have in charge of your team. He's done brilliant things with plenty of good rugby teams, so having someone like him keen to help out is always going to be good for rugby league in the area. One thing that might work for Toronto is the timing of a rugby league season. Fair enough, I'm not massively knowledgeable about the timings of when ice hockey is played, which I think is a winter sport, and football that's trying to evolve over there in Canada, I think, is also being played in the winter as usual for the rest of the world. So with this being a summer sport, it might get a bit more attention of fans, because that's what happened in England when they changed it to summer. You got a few more fans that wasn't going, and I'm pretty sure a summer in Canada can still be better than a summer in Britain, because whether you're seeing right now is basically summer rugby league at times in Britain. Can be fun, but boring to watch. One thing I did see is Brian Noble is saying a few test matches might be able to get played there, which, again, that's stuff that rugby league needs. If Toronto can become a hotbed of rugby league in Canada, if they can expand upon that, maybe, I don't know, in 7-8 years time, have another extra team from Canada into the league, and then start building up the grassroots rugby level in Canada and try to work from there. Because the problem I'm feeling at the moment is it's evident with Catalan and Toulouse. It's all good having Catalan playing well and Toulouse playing well at the moment, but that's it from France, and to compete in the leagues they're having to sign foreign players, so they do need the league to be starting to prevail, because at the moment the second level of English rugby is just as good as that French First League. Also, what I've been reading is Canada is the next largest area for rugby league following, outside of the UK, Australia, France, New Zealand and the other known countries for rugby league. And the stadium they're playing at has attracted 7,000 people to a Canada Rugby League match, which is promising for an area. I do quite like how the League One at the moment seems to be used as this international league. I mean, Australia has sort of done it a bit, because they've had the New Zealand Warriors inducted into the NRL, obviously that was years ago, and that's allowed New Zealand to put more players into that competition, and they have benefited over time. So I can see where they're going with this League One, but I think the problem is it's that lower standard of rugby that, compared to the NRL, Super League's low, and compared to Super League, the League One is stupidly low. So the downside of this is, yes, the teams will be improving, but once they get to the highest level, they'll plateau out on par with England and struggle to catch up to the likes of Australia and New Zealand, like England have been doing for years. So it's a good premises, but at the same time it does have its faults, because they tried doing stuff like this with Wales, and Wales have currently got 2 teams in the League One, and they just sort of sat there and not been able to do anything after you had to sort of wear in the Super League competition, but they just wasn't able to get more publicity with it, which is a shame. Because the League One, as I say, you've got Toulouse, who are currently top of it. Newcastle Thunder, which is a sort of, I don't want to say experimental, I want to say what Toronto will be. It's a team to try to promote the sport in an area, but that is about as far as it goes. It doesn't have massive amounts of promotion. It is just, oh, you can play in this league and you'll get promotion once you get to Super League. Because outside Super League in Britain, no promotion. Super League itself has very little promotion. So having these teams in this league, while it is good as a stepping stone, it just needs more money put into it, which won't happen, which is a great shame. Especially at the thought of this will be the first professional rugby league team in Canada. So it would be better off if they were in a league where they got money. Because not only you've got parts of England that are used as experiments and Wales, and it has just sort of become this, I don't want to say failed experiment league, but a lot of teams that they've gone, oh, we can use this to get rugby league better in this area, they've just sort of stayed there. And if you try to, even as a rugby league fan, if you try to look for them, you'll find them, but you won't get any more than that. If you go on Sky Sports, BBC Sports, you just get Super League and a bit of Championship when it comes to the middle eights. So that and the middle eights just didn't work to get teams promoted. I don't care what anyone says. If you're not sure what the middle eights are, look them up and you'll see up to 4 Super League teams, which is the top league, could get relegated and 4 Championship teams promoted. But it won't happen. I mean, it didn't happen last year, it won't happen this year. I don't want to sound pessimistic about it, but I'm just being realistic. That is what hopefully will change that by the time this Toronto team gets to that level. I mean, being professional will help them, but the amount of money they'll get will only get them so far. Because the teams that are in the league, one is Gloucester All Golds, where Gloucester is a union area with them having a Premiership rugby team. Newcastle, who I'm currently playing, they have obviously Newcastle United, which is a massive football team. So even though they've just got relegated, they're still going to get a full St James's Park. They've also got the Newcastle Falcons, who I think are currently in the not Championship, the Premiership in rugby. So again, another area where they're trying to compete. You've got the Coventry Bears, which I'm not sure how the football team's doing for fans, but they've had a football team that's been in the Premier League, and the London Wasps play in Coventry. Don't ask me why, they just do. London's expanded to Coventry somehow. That's how that works. So again, that's got that union following. Coventry is having a back-to-back Four Nations game this year, so that'll be interesting. But again, it's just these failed areas. And the problem is, I don't think they want rugby league and they get forced it, because there's also London Scholars in this league, which, fair enough, you got a London Broncos that did well, but most rugby league fans weren't too keen of it because they got a lot more attention than they deserved because they weren't performing, and they were just getting this extra attention that other teams felt hard done by. Also, what I'd like to know is people's opinions on this, whether you're a massive rugby league nut or you're completely new to the sport. If any of people's watching this, because you got the comments and either I'll answer a question or opinions in the comments or manage to do another video. where I'm talking about this, because I like to see this as more as a two-way street on discussion of rugby league rather than me telling you stuff. Because I'm sure there's people in those areas that I said aren't the greatest for rugby league, which I'd like to defend for it, and by all means, please do. And if there's any areas I haven't mentioned, because I'm in Scotland, that's where I live, and rugby league's not the greatest following, but there's a weird respect for it by a lot of union teams, and there are people that like it. So if you areas like that you feel are hard done, and I know Cumbrians, whenever it comes to mention about other teams getting money in that, they're not the happiest of people because they don't get a lot of funding off the RFL, I don't think, or at least it doesn't seem like they get enough help, being one of the heartlands of the sport, which is quite unfair that they don't have a team doing well at the moment. So, as I say, if you've got any question about rugby league, please put it down in the comments. Or if you just want to slag off how bad I am at the game and stuff I'm doing, don't be afraid to, because it's a laugh at the end of the day. I don't mind it. As I said before about comments, don't be afraid, and talk to you next time.